Well, it's been a fascinating and at times challenging couple of years, but as this Parliament comes to an end, I thought I'd pull a video together showing some highlights of what I've been up to inside and outside of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, what's the government doing to encourage maximum participation in elections and in particular to encourage young people to register to vote? Divorce and family breakdown takes an emotional toll on all those involved, but the family dynamic often overlooked is that between grandparents and their grandchildren. Will the Prime Minister therefore join me, Dame Esther Ranson and thousands of grandparents across the country in calling for a change in the law to give grandparents access rights to their grandchildren, as is the case in France?
My honourable friend is absolutely right, that of course...
Does the Prime Minister agree that education plays a pivotal role in unlocking these opportunities and enabling social mobility? And will education and skills funding receive the attention it therefore deserves in the upcoming spending round?
After all, it is frequently mentioned as one of the most desirable places in the country to live. And it's obviously not because we're overfunded from public expenditure, but because the people in my constituency work hard and they are self-reliant. And they like to...
have a great MP.
And if there's a problem, they look first in the mirror and try and resolve it themselves. But it is unfair if my constituents have to delve into their own pockets to pay for things which in other parts of the country are provided through public expenditure.
I'm at the beautiful confetti fields at Wick near Pershore in Worcestershire. As you can see, it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. And hundreds of puppies are intercepted at our ports and borders each and every year. But of course, puppy smuggling at heart is an industry perpetrated by people motivated purely by money. Does the Minister agree that caring about climate change and the environment isn't a monopoly of the left? Far from it, as evidenced by the many actions of this government. But there is a political debate to be had, and does she agree that it is possible to reduce emissions and grow the economy, and that this is particularly important not only for the UK, but for many of the world's developing economies?
Yes.
My honourable friend hits the nail on the head that there is too much fear and not enough hope around this.
Of course, we do need to constantly transform and improve the NHS as our population grows and ages. And Worcestershire, our acute hospitals are under immense pressure, with 10,500 A&E visits in January alone. And my ask of the Minister is that as we increase this funding, please can Worcestershire get its fair share. And I welcome the renewed focus on mental health and the parity on mental health, 2.3 billion in extra funding, which will give 350,000 more children and 370,000 more adults the support that they so desperately need. What plans does the department have to improve the A46? It's a vital artery that's key to unlocking economic growth, jobs and housing right across the Midlands. And how is the department working with Midlands Connect in achieving those goals? Towns like Evesham and Droitwich Spa in my constituency continue to grow, which puts considerable pressure on local roads. What is the department doing to support small towns with their traffic management and traffic light systems in order to ease congestion? EU countries are some of the biggest contributors to our inbound tourism industry. We had 6 million visitors from the EU in the last 3 months of 2018 alone. Always pleased to welcome hundreds of thousands of them to Worcestershire. So does the Minister agree that the continuation of visa-free travel is vital to our tourism industry, which sustains 3 million jobs in the UK?
My honourable friend is absolutely right, and last year...
But does the Secretary of State agree with me that there's a world of difference between online banter and abuse and harassment? There's a world of difference between expressing an opinion and promulgating disinformation. And there's a world of difference between expressing a belief and spreading hatred and terrorist propaganda.
And given that I have 107 pubs in my constituency, which is about 35 more than average, I particularly welcome the freeze on beer and spirits duty, and so do my constituents.
I'm proud that Vale of Evesham asparagus has been granted protected geographical indication status by the EU. Will PGI status still be recognised post-Brexit?
Well, my honourable friend makes an important point, and Vale of Evesham asparagus obviously has a fantastic reputation across our country and indeed around the world.
Indeed, this week we have seen the start of the Grenfell inquiry. Can the Prime Minister confirm that nevertheless it is her clear intention to ban inflammable cladding and ensure that another tragedy like Grenfell never happens again? We are, however, rightly and instinctively the party of low taxation. We will only dive into people's wallets when we have an absolute necessity to do so, and instead we would prefer
and we are chasing after tax dodgers, closing loopholes, and also making sure that normal, hard-working families don't have to pay more tax.
The Attorney General is well aware that drug trafficking is an issue not just for urban areas but rural areas, villages and towns too. How is he assisting more rural agencies, CPS and, for example, West Mercia Police in helping tackling drug trafficking? On the 22nd of June, I shall have the honour of again opening the Droitwich Food and Drink Festival. Can we have a debate to celebrate the many food and drink festivals, boat festivals, heritage events, plum festivals and a whole host of things that happen right across the country that celebrate our food and drink, our heritage, our culture, and show our thanks to the many people who do so much to make them happen?